The past few years have seen some pretty remarkable innovations in the world of family coasters. Companies like Gerstlauer and Vekoma push the boundaries with creative and comfortable experiences that both kids and die-hard coaster enthusiasts will love. But one of my favorite new creations I've seen in recent years comes from Intamin for the family lift and launch coaster Gold Rush. The ride opened in 2024 at Drayton Manor in the UK. The park has been undergoing a recent rebranding as the UK's best family park, so they've been removing some of the more daring experiences, such as their Intamin Drop Tower Apocalypse, and we're looking for something new and exciting that everyone would be able to enjoy. And what the teams at Intamin came up with is just pure genius. What if you could build one roller coaster but offer two completely different ride experiences? In the past, companies have experimented with different variables to offer re-rideability, such as different onboard audio or alternate endings, and that's great and all. But Gold Rush offers two distinctly different experiences. No matter which cycle you get, you traverse the entire track length, but your order of elements and how you take those elements will be different. I had the opportunity to experience both settings, and if you want to do the same, plan on spending a full day at Drayton Manor, because they'll run setting 1 up until about 2 o'clock, where then it'll switch over to setting 2. So at least as of this moment, it's not randomized, which while I think that could be cool, it's nice that you won't have to play the odds of which cycle are we going to get this time, and you end up getting the same setting 3 times in a row. So let's walk through these experiences, starting first with your approach. To get to Gold Rush, you'll enter the new Frontier Falls section of Drayton Manor. It's an upgraded old western street, very nice presentation. The ride is situated just past their Vekoma family boomerang accelerator. You can see this big old station building right here, this red barn. And they've added some really nice decor around Gold Rush to dress it up. As you're walking through the queue, you'll notice lots of wanted posters, wheelbarrows full of gold, these wooden shafts transporting water from one side to another, tons of barrels. It aesthetically looks very nice, and I appreciate how close you get to the track. There's some really good photo ops. One thing in particular I appreciate, they have a gravestone honoring their old drop tower that this replaced. I love it when parks honor their past. So when you enter this massive building, you'll climb up to the second floor. Gold Rush operates with 2 identical trains, each seating 24 passengers. You'll want to experience this ride in multiple rows. Not only will the front and back rows offer a different experience, but depending on which cycle you get, some of those sensations will feel different. As you depart out of the station, you'll take the small dip down and approach your lift hill. If you're paying close attention, you'll notice that you actually just passed over a switch track. That's going to come in handy in a second. You'll rise up 56 feet in the air, not too tall, and this is where the 2 settings will start to differ. So we'll start by walking through setting 1 because this seems to be the cycle that runs for a longer period of time. In this version, you crest over the lift and bank to the right and approach your drop that descends down underneath that lift hill you just crossed over. It is not much of a drop, it is very gradual. You'll rise up into this bank turn, switch to the left, banking down to the ground, pass over this large airtime hill. You'll feel some uplifting forces, nothing too crazy. And then this real low to the ground S-bend, they'll turn you to the left into a show building. It's packed with barrels, smoke, water effects. There's a voice that shouts, "Get out while you can," and then there's a blasting effect and you suddenly shoot backwards. You'll now enter a new set of tracks pushing you back to the right. When you're in that show building, there's a switch track directly behind you that'll slide over, and that's what allows you to enter this new section of the ride. There's this gradual bank turn and then another fun little S-bend, small little bunny hop, and then this wide left turn that actually passes over their powered coaster, which is pretty cool. And then surprise, you're back at the lift hill, but now you're going up the opposite direction. So that's what that switch track was for at the very beginning. It's very, very creative. You'll once again ascend up 56 feet in the air, but this time you'll stop at the top and then drop forwards. So the lift hill is also the biggest drop on the ride. It's much like a Vekoma family boomerang, but this is a much more complete layout because this is a complete circuit. You release down, hitting your max speed of 37 miles per hour, banking to the left, dropping into that little bunny hill, that S-bend, this wide turn to the left. You re-enter that show building, accelerate all the way through. There's a bunny hump airtime hill that'll bank you to the left, small little hop, and then a left-handed bank turn. You'll switch to the right and then enter your brake run. So that is setting 1. Strongest moments here, I think, are the backwards section and then that final stretch when you're going full speed. Weakest part, definitely the beginning. I think the small little drop after the lift hill and that bank turn is just kind of okay. The second half is where things get a lot more interesting, which is fine, that beginning is the warm-up. So here's what happens in setting 2. This version, I think, starts with more of a bang. So you still climb up the lift hill at the beginning of the ride like normal, but this time you come to a stop at the top, and then you release backwards. You travel the course of Gold Rush in reverse first before you do anything forwards. So you drop backwards down the lift hill, reaching your max speed of 37 miles per hour, bank to the right over the powered coaster, dropping down into a bunny hill, small little S-bend, and then you do this wide turn into the show building. You still see all the same barrels and the smoke, the same voice says, "Get out while you can," but now you accelerate forwards, pass through that same section of track, banking right to enter the lift hill, and now you make it all the way through. Turning right, dropping down off the little barn, large directional change to the left, airtime hill, S-bend, show building, and then you propel all the way through into your final stretch that then takes you into the brake run. So in setting 2's case, the more interesting stuff happens at the beginning. And then the section that happens directly after lift hill that I said was kind of okay in setting 1 is now in the middle of the ride. But no matter which version you get, here's what both of them do well. Easily, the backwards section. I think that was the best part of both cycles. I think you get some unexpected laterals, and just that twisting motion in reverse is really fun. I think either way, it's well paced. I appreciate that no matter what, something new and exciting happens when you're in that show building that causes you to change directions. And in both scenarios, I got off with a smile on my face. So which version do I like better? I think going backwards halfway through is a cool way to mix things up, but starting backwards is a more exciting beginning. And there's something to be said about not stopping halfway through, that you just keep going, and I like that. But I think setting 1 is probably going to be a better warm-up for kids. That way also you're not experiencing the biggest drop backwards. So for that reason, I think setting 2 is more thrilling, but setting 1 is a better introduction. I think that's why it's a good thing that they start the day by running setting 1. So then you get familiar with the ride, and then later in the day you can go check out the alternate version and experience something different like a big old backwards drop. Regardless, I think Gold Rush takes my title of Best Family Coaster in the UK. It's a perfect introduction for kids to more dynamic forces like bank turns and airtime and going backwards. It's an obvious step up from Accelerator next door, although I do think it's interesting that they have 2 coasters that go backwards right next to each other. I didn't expect that. And it's just an overall well-presented attraction, something that's an excellent incentive to come to Drayton Manor for. And I hope that Intamin sells more of these, because in my opinion, it's a game changer. I had never seen a layout done like this before. When I was first walking up to it, I didn't fully understand what was going on. Like, how is this gonna work? But let me tell you, whoever thought of this is a genius. I think it's way better than any shuttle coaster. It allows you to still have a full, complete experience while having an interesting backwards section, and you get more of a ride out of less track. So for Gold Rush's final score, I'm giving it a very solid 9 out of 10. This is a top tier family coaster. For me, I put it right up there with a ride like Pegasus Express at Parc Astérix. I think that's really what this is designed to be, is Intamin's take on that style. And I think if I were a theme park and I was looking for a new family coaster, you know what? I'd buy one. Every person we saw get off Gold Rush had nothing but positive things to say about it. And I think that's all the proof you need. So let me know down in the comments below if you've experienced Gold Rush at Drayton Manor, if you agree with the points that I brought up, if you think there's anything I missed, be sure to post that down below, and stay tuned for more coaster reviews here at Coaster Studios, and I'll see you next time.